Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Insight Sports Talk with your host, Joanna Rosalie. I am joined today with my amazing co host, as always, Ed Cole, on this beautiful Tuesday. We're a little bit late today. We had some technical difficulties, but nonetheless, we are here and ready to talk some sports with everyone. How are you, Ed?
Joanna, good evening. Happy Tuesday to you.
Happy Tuesday.
Yes, it's been an up and down Tuesday ever since I got home. So I blame the technical difficulties on me and my laptop taking a nosedive right before the show. So that's why we're late. So it's all on me.
No worries at all. I wasn't pointing any fingers. No one had to know that, but it's all
Oh
good.
man.
We're making it work. We're here. It's awesome. Um, so, so we have a lot bring coming to you. We'll be talking about WNBA and the GOAT Diana Taurasi and the major milestone she hit over the weekend with the Phoenix Mercury. I will be dabbling, of course, a little bit into, or quite a bit into the NBA playoffs and the road to the finals with the Suns and the Clippers, and then on with the Bucks and the Hawks. There going on with them, which the game just ended a short while ago. We have also MLB that we'll be touching a little bit more on as we approach the All Star break or the Midsummer Classic. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, talking a little bit about Tani, talk and expand more on the foreign substances. We have someone who has already been suspended because of the use of that foreign substance, and just talk a little bit more of that, how that's going to be affecting the rest of the season and the off season too, which we've mentioned a little bit before, Ed, but we'll dabble into some more on that because now it's kind of getting a little bit near and what to look forward to. And Yankees and Red Sox, we'll touch on that over the weekend and on that series, as well as the NFL and Tom Brady and the news that's circulating there. So, are you ready to go ahead and kick this show off, Ed?
Of course. Let's get
Yes.
started.
All right. So, we'll go ahead and get started with Diana Taurasi and the WNBA. She just hit a major milestone, 9,000 points in the WNBA. She was drafted by the Phoenix Mercury. That's the one and only team she has been with throughout her entire career. Here, keeping it local with Phoenix. And this is not enough for her, Ed. She says that if she gets to 10,000 career points, that's when she's really going to be even happier or really happy. So she does take it in. She's been with the one team throughout her entire career. So that means tremendous to her, that having that trust and that confidence, putting that onto her. And the talent that also has been brought to the Phoenix Mercury as well with, at least this season we can talk. We have the great Brittany Griner. We have uh, multiple WNBA players to include Diana going to the Olympics. So that's just amazing. And one of the things too, Ed, before bring you into this topic, Diana just came back from a major injury. She was out for weeks, and to come back and hit, and then just almost right off the bat hitting this major milestone, I can only imagine how excited she is for this. But that's not an easy feat to do. And then after this, like I mentioned, she's going to the Olympics for Team USA for the women's team. So, Ed.
Yeah. So she came back from a fractured sternum, Joanna, and against the Sparks, she had 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists coming off a fractured sternum. Joanna, how painful does that sound to have a fractured sternum? And she comes back in her 17th year, gets 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And she was already the all time leading scorer in WNBA history. But now, as you mentioned, she hit 9,000 career points, which of course nobody's ever done. And So the second to her was Tina Thompson. Tina Thompson had 7,488. So she was still well over 1,000 points ahead of Tina. And then Candice Dupree was number 3 with 6820. So Diana is continuing to distance herself from anybody that would try to compete with her as far as the scoring is concerned. But again, to do that in 17 years of basketball with what that is just an amazing accomplishment for Miss Taurasi to do that, and to do it all with the Phoenix Mercury, which is incredible. And again, it just shines the light on a quality organization here in the Valley of the Sun that does, by the way, share the same building as the Phoenix Suns, a team that's fighting to go to the NBA Finals. So success is breeded all throughout that building, Joe, is it not?
It definitely is, Ed. And with that too, you mentioned Candice Dupree. She is the next closest active player. You mentioned she has 6820 right now. So she's right now the only active player, if at all, who could maybe even get close to reaching Diana's milestone, but not, she's the leading all-time scorer, the first one to reach this milestone at 9,000 with the WNBA, and she's at the young age of 39. So when we see her, she's not looking to stop anytime soon. I know at least she has at least a couple more years under her belt if she does choose to go that much further in her career. So we don't see her stopping in with this injury. She just came back and was ready, and look what she did.
Yeah. So Joe, should she stay healthy, she could get 10,000 easily, 10,000 or more.
Yeah. I see her doing that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I'm excited to see her and the women's basketball team in the Olympics. I'll definitely be tuning in and watching that as they will kick off here in less than a month. We're just weeks away from the Olympic Games launch.
And Joe, I'm excited to see the ladies and the men too. The men's, the Team USA, they've got a really good lineup of men that are going to go over to Tokyo and represent us as well. So the men and the women have a wealth of talent that's going to go over to Japan and hopefully represent the United States really well.
Yes, most definitely. And speaking about the men, I'm going to go ahead and go and dive right into the NBA playoffs and the road to the finals. That's very, very close. It seemed like it was very close and just ready for the reach for the Phoenix Suns, which is what we'll go ahead and kick it off with here tonight as we talk NBA Finals with Monday night's game, Phoenix Suns against the Clippers here at Phoenix Suns Arena that took place. Now, before we go ahead and dive in, Ed, I have a couple of videos and sound that I want to go ahead and play from both Monty Williams, Phoenix Suns coach, and CP3. So let me go ahead and let's dive into that and see what their take was from the game, what they saw and what they see that they need to do better, and where they kind of fell low on Monday night's game and their loss to the Clippers.
Guarding the ball, simple as that. That's basketball universal 101. You got to be able to guard the ball. We did. And they hit some tough shots, and you give them credit. They had 58 points in the paint. That's not something you would have expected, especially with them not having Zubac tonight. And so we will be better in the next game. But that's paramount on my mind right now is we got to play with way more force and competitive edge, and we got to guard the ball.
And that was Monty Williams. And then let's go ahead and listen to what Chris Paul had to say about the game as well.
We gave them a lot of open shots early. You know what I mean? They got their threes going, and I think that's a team that plays off confidence when they're making shots. So we got to try to get the right people shooting, and our offense feeds off our defense. So we just got to remember that. They came out and they were aggressive. They sort of looked like us in game 4. And they hit us. They were too comfortable. We got to be better.
So that game on Monday night, yesterday night, was very ugly for the Phoenix Suns. The Clippers came out and did what they needed to do. And like Chris Paul said, the Clippers were the aggressors. And then, yes, they do need to do better because Clippers, they were just dominant in that game. And they took the lead throughout. For most of the game, the Suns came back. I remember once, maybe twice, Ed, if I remember correctly, where they took the lead. But it was not, sorry about that. It was not for a very long time. And then from that moment on, the Clippers took the lead for that after that second time the Suns doing so, it was game over from there. There was no looking back for the Clippers. They need to get better in that paint. They need to be more aggressive. The Clippers got comfortable, but I think the Suns got a little bit too comfortable, and they just did not come out as aggressive. They didn't play as aggressive as they had their previous games, in which I believe that took contribution in them falling to the Clippers Monday night. Ed?
Yeah, it was. So a lot of people say, who was the desperate team last night at Phoenix Suns Arena? Was it the Clippers or was it the Suns? Because the Suns are at home. Everyone expects them to win game 5, and the Clippers have no pressure because they've been down 2-0 in 2 consecutive series. Well, 3 straight series now, Joanna. So they know how to come back from being down. So them being in the situation that they were last night, down 3-1, that's nothing to them. That's nothing to a Tyronn Lue coached team who are coached excellently. They've got basketball players who know how to go after the ball, who knows how to do, as you mentioned, what it takes to get a victory, what they did last night with Paul George struggling in the first half. He only had 11 points, but that third quarter, Joe, 20 of his 41 points in the third quarter. And then you look at Reggie Jackson. He came up with 23 big points, hit 4 3-pointers. Marcus Morris had 22 points. DeMarcus Cousins off the bench in 11 minutes of action. Joanna, 7 of 12, 15 big points for him. So when Ivica Zubac went out with his, he had an MCL sprain in his knee. So he was out. So they determined, Ty Lue said, okay, so we're going to go small ball. We're going to go ahead and start Terrence Mann in place of Zubac, and we're going to go small ball. And they came out in that first quarter, Joanna, and they punched Phoenix squarely in the mouth. And blood was all over the Suns jerseys. I'm saying this metaphorically because that's what it was. They came out, they started out up 7-0, Joanna. They were up 20-5 at one point. They were up 16 points at one point. And if you remember, in game 3, they scored 36 points in the first half of game 4. They scored 36 points in the first half alone, Joanna. The Clippers did. In that 84-80 game. Remember that ugly game that nobody wanted to watch?
Yeah.
Yes. Last night, they had 36 in the first quarter. So talk about adjustments. Talk about the proper adjustments the Clippers made. That's what it was. And then they outscored them in the paint, Joanna, by 26, 58-32. So they dominated the Suns in the paint. And where was DeAndre Ayton last night when Zubac was not there? Last night was the night for DeAndre Ayton to dominate, but he took 9 shots. Who's responsible for feeding DeAndre Ayton or not feeding him enough last night when he should have been eating all night long, but he didn't?
Right.
It was there for the Suns for the taking, but they did not execute properly. They did not want it as much as the Clippers did. Therefore, they're going back to LA for Game 6 tomorrow.
And with that, I'm bringing on our great, amazing, awesome friend. He is the sports cave, PLR, and I see you have a trophy there.
I got this in my way. I'm sorry.
You got a little buddy there with you, Paul? Is that what that is, huh?
Yeah, every time I try to put it, it just keeps coming back in my hands.
I know it's hard for the camera to capture it all. You and it.
Yeah, it's got a big trophy.
Okay.
So little birdie told me you got your team that you coach got second place in the tournament.
My guys that are all 10 and 11 went and played 12U and came in second place in their first ever 12U tournament. And I don't even have a 12-year-old until late December.
So Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So,
that's great.
Thank you. This has been going with us every time I go to another room, it seems to pop up right with me. So I don't know.
What a coincidence, huh? Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. My new recruiting tool.
Perfect timing, PLR, because we're just starting to dive into the Phoenix Suns and the disaster of a game that was against the Clippers for the Phoenix Suns. So we just played a little bit of audio from Monty Williams and Chris Paul, CP3. So what is your takeaway? You were actually there at the game yesterday. So how was the energy? How was the vibe, not only from the fans, but from the players themselves? And what was your takeaway from that?
Well, players were frustrated, and they should have been. This was, remember, about a week or two ago, I was on. I said this series is basically going to come down to make shots and miss shots, and the Suns honestly just missed too many easy shots, and they allowed the Clippers to get in the rhythm. And when you let people keep talking about Paul George like he's, Willie Lester out of Northeast Mexico, Texas State, in Central Tennessee. He can play ball, and if you give him a rhythm and let him get in rhythm, he's a hard guy to stop. And so basically, the Clippers came out and played with force. And after Game 3, I'm saying the same thing I'm saying after Game 5. I'm really not worried. I really think the Suns are going to win Game 6. I thought they'd win last night, but they played like a team that was already ready to party instead of a team that was focused. And the Clippers came out, and they hit them hard. And once they hit them hard and got their confidence up, it was hard to turn that faucet back off. And the Clippers basically played like it was Game 7, because for them it was a Game 7. It was lose or go home. Whereas the Suns played like, we got this, we're back home, we just won Game 4. Let's just do this and go party. And from my take, and I was around, obviously surrounded by media, and the guys that have covered the Suns for a long time, they were like, come on, stop ball, do this, do that. But they play with something that I try to guard against every team I've ever coached. Play with confidence. Don't play with arrogance. And they played last night with arrogance. With Zubac is now out, Kawhi's out, Ibaka's been out. And so now we just got to come on. I will say this real quick and then stop. When I saw that Tyronn Lue was starting a small lineup, I was like, this is actually going to be trouble, because you're now pulling Aiden away from the basket. So all those rim protects that he was doing in games 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the big in there, because a big plays low, so he's always around the basket. Now he has to go out and guard. And once you pull him away from the basket, the lane just opened up. And so you're getting easier shots in the paint, because it's hard now for him to recover and go help from the 3-point line. Whereas before, he's helping from either just outside the paint or around the paint. So Tyronn Lue did just a magnificent job in saying, okay, we're going to go small. We're not going to start Boogie, because if we start Boogie, then Aiden is still going to live in his paint. Let's spread him out, and let's spread the Suns out. And the Suns did a poor job of staying connected to their player. And then offensively, the Suns missed a lot of switches when they had Aiden with guards on him. They reversed rotate instead of going back to the strong side where they could have fed him the ball. And so it was some mistakes. In all honesty, I think everything in that game was bad. I don't think the Suns met their energy. Honestly, for the first time, I'll say this honestly, I think Monty got outcoached. I thought Ty Lue's strategy was better for last night's game. And starting that small lineup was just honestly a brilliant move. It neutralized DA.
Yes, and we heard Monty say that that's the team that came out to play Monday night against the Clippers is not going to show up at the following game, because especially with the way that the Suns got their butts kicked. Mm-hmm. That's a totally, that's a Suns team that we hadn't seen play that way and as bad and sloppy since the Lakers. So
there was a stretch where DeMarcus Cousins stole the ball from CP3 and dunked it. He took it, almost left to the corner and dunked it. And I'll be honest with you, even with all that going on, I thought the Suns were still going to be okay. And then when they caught him at 62-61, and then the Clippers turned around and won on a 19-9 run, I was like, you know what? They wasted all their – I hate to use the word wasted, but they used all their energy playing catch up. So then when they caught up to them, I don't know if you guys ever noticed. Usually the team that's down by 19, it's not the starters that catch up. It's the bench that catches up. So then when the bench catches up, then you put your starters back in and your starters are fresh. And now they got the rhythm and the momentum going. But this time the starters caught up. And so they used all their energy. And then you go to your bench and the bench can't do nothing. So it was just a bad game, execution wise, energy wise. And like I said, make shots. But if you don't play with energy and you don't meet force with force, and you let a team look, they're grown men. They get paychecks on the 1st and the 15th too. So if you don't match that energy with the team that's trying to stay alive, you're going to struggle. And I'm going to end up back in there on Friday. Let me tell you something. I do not want to work Friday night. In this Wednesday, I do not want a game 7. Do not end this thing. Be done with it.
I know. That's what I was going to say. The Suns, if they're looking at winning and advancing to the finals, they need to win game 6. And I do not want a game 7 because if we go to a game 7, Ed knows how I will be. I will not be a happy person, not a happy camper whatsoever. I will be very pissed and throwing stuff at the TV and possibly break it. So I am not happy. It was horrible of what I saw. Disappointed in my Phoenix Suns. I expected them to come out with the win they should have.
But don't be. And Ed and Joe, I'm sure you heard this today. And maybe last night if you listened to just some of the callers on some of the radio shows and even some of the radio hosts who are never at games but manage to be experts and never on Zoom calls and manage to be experts. But anyway, that's a different story. It's not, look, the cloud is not done. It's not hailing outside. The Suns, I don't give a crap what anybody says. I heard someone locally on the air today say, well, the Clippers are now in the driver's seat. Who taught this joker how to count? Last I checked, the team up 3-2 is in the driver's seat. So, look, and Joanna, don't give me the look when I say this. Please don't turn to Red Sox fans. The Red Sox fans could be up 19-1 in the bottom of the 9th, up 3-0 on the road. It could be 2 outs on the other team. No one at bat. They'll be like, oh my God, I hope they don't lose this game. It's like, shut the hell up. You're up 19-2 at the bottom of the 9th. And that guy got 2 fights on him and nobody on. They're not coming back. And I know it's different because they've only got to win 1 game. But if you look at the 2 games the Suns have lost, it was a desperation game 3, and it was a desperation game 5. The Suns came back out in game 4 and met that force on the road. So everything they've done all season gives me the confidence that they come back and do this tomorrow night, as opposed to the opposite. These are not the SOS. They're not the same old Suns. So, like I said, I'm listening to people call in. It's like, oh, Lord Jesus, the ship is taking water. The ship ain't taking no damn water. Relax. Relax. Don't panic. Everything is cool.
So the situation we had that was part at the beginning of the season, it's kind of been a little on and off and shaky throughout the playoffs. That love and hate relationship the Suns and I have. So should I watch tomorrow night's game or should I not?
Yes.
It's kind of been a little wishy-washy the last couple of games.
And ask you, let me turn this way. I can't. I'm not. Let me see. Okay, now I just see. Okay, so she all night. She in LA. She on the court. Drive on the court tomorrow.
No, she's not in LA. No.
She ain't. She don't have one of her sons. She ain't on the court.
No.
She in the locker room. She in the locker room.
No.
She have a clipboard. She calling plays.
Nope.
Then it don't matter if you watch the game or not. Just that stuff don't matter. You can watch it, not watch it, turn the TV sideways. Doesn't matter. There's no such thing as jinx. There's only one thing in life that's jinxed, and this is Chicago Cubs. There are no other jinxes. You're fine. Watch the game. If you don't
Yes.
watch the game, you're gonna be like half the people that do sports in Phoenix. Well, I didn't see the game last night, but Chris Paul could have played better. Well, how the hell?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not that person, and I will not be that person. I'm not become that person. You and I have this talk, PLR. Please let me know.
Yeah, no, look, watch the game. Like I said, it's a closeout game. You don't want to miss that. In LA,
I will be
So
kicking
watch
myself
that
if I do miss it. I will say that.
Yes, you will.
I do want to ask you guys a question. This is for real though. So I believe Patrick Beverly, and Ed, we said this with Stephen Hunter. I don't knock Patrick Beverly's hustle. He had to do what he did to get in the NBA. He's a professional irritant. That's his job, to get on your nerves, to rattle you up, maybe get thrown out every now and then, but take your superstar with him when he goes. You know, he's that dude. I ain't going. Hey, I got a whole bunch of names. Hey, I ain't going down by myself.
Right.
It's the good-looking sharp brother in the front row. He's in charge of CMB, not me.
He's pulling the Nino on him, right?
Yes. So I know you ain't watched it. That's
yeah. She still hasn't watched New Jack City.
No, she ain't watched it. You can tell by the way she did the look at her throwing up on it.
Yeah, you didn't watch New Jack City yet.
Anyway,
you see how she did the ponytails? No.
Yeah, the ponytail flew.
Yeah,
but and I get that. Here's what I don't get, and maybe you guys can answer this for me. How does he get away with the taunting though? Like I get all the other crap. I understand some of the stuff he does is dirty, but Chris Paul's on the ground and you're taunting him. How is that not a tech? What gives him the green light to do that? Look, Boogie Cousins could turn around and say, I didn't foul him, tech. I mean, everyone earns their reputation. He's earned the reputation so much to be a beep hole. I beat myself to be a beep hole that when he does something that you do get a tech on, they don't call it. That was taunting in the middle of the court.
And it's crazy. And it's crazy. Like tonight, Paul, Skylar Mays got called for technical for taunting. But why did Pat Bev not get called for what he was doing over Chris Paul last night with all the stomping and all that excess mess he was doing last night?
Remember, it was Crowder, Jay Crowder too, with the salsa dancing. He got ejected.
Yes.
Like seriously, and nothing for Beverly. I was like, this is BS. Straight up.
I don't get it. I really don't understand it. And so like I said, I think he's so borderline dirty. I think he does a lot of dirty things. I thought the headbutt on Devin Booker should have been a flagrant because I've seen basketball played a lot of years. You don't lead with your head.
No.
That was bullcrap. You know that you don't lead with your head. But these are things he gets away with, and I don't get it. Now, what I'm hoping is Monty did the Phil Jackson thing today and last night and said, I don't understand how this player gets this. I don't understand how this player does this. Why is it for this play? So a lot of times that's a coach in the playoffs conditioning the refs. It's old, and the coach said it before Phil, but you're young, Joanna. But Ed, I know you remember when Phil would come out and say, well, I can't believe they're letting all that hand checking go the way they've been hand checking, the way they're living in the paint and hand checking in 3 seconds. I guess they don't call that anymore in the NBA. And then the next game rolls up and it's like 3 calls for hand checking, 2-3 second violations. And you're like, refs heard him. So I wonder if Monty is setting that up the same way.
Possibly.
You see,
he said it without not having to say it.
Right. Because
he said it without not having to say, well, you guys need to look at Pat Bev. Look at all the mess. That was code for look at Pat Beverly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It sure was.
And PLR, I know we have you for a little bit longer. And before you go, I want to go ahead and have you chime in on the Bucks and the Hawks, which we already have your prediction. But right now we have the series tied 2-2. The Hawks came out super dominant tonight's game, taking that win 110-88 against the Bucks. Mm-hmm. So what did you see out of tonight's game?
I got my receipt. I'm trying to take my pick back. I'm trying to go back to the store and change my pick because I thought this team is so talented. Mike Budenholzer could not mess it up. He could not. He would make the needed adjustments. That they're so talented that, and no, there's no way without Trae Young, you go in the game and you can beat me later, but my great grandma used to say, and show your ass like that. Because you said it before you went in the store with her. Hey, when you go in the store, don't show your ass now.
Yep.
So how the heck do you go down to Atlanta after you've been dancing, after winning by 20-something at home? And it goes back to what I said about this team. I'm not saying they're not going to win a title. I'm not saying they don't have enough talent to, because they do. But there are some front runners. They are the team that gets up early, and if they get up on you and it's going smooth, they're good. But as soon as that first time set, oh, they're ready to break. And they're ready to go, and nothing else is going to go right. And I know Greek Freak got banged up, but they were getting their kick before he went out the game, from what I heard. So I have no – okay, so if I come back at Game 7, if I have my receipt, can I get almost all my money back? I don't even want it all back.
No, Paul. They
I just
don't.
want some of
That's
it.
not how.
No.
That's not how returns work. Returns
No.
are either you get it all back or you get nothing back. So it's one or the other. It's not a half return. It's not a third of a return. It's not 3/4 of a return. It's not 99% of a return. That's not how.
So I either got to. But maybe I'm shopping at the wrong stores because I don't want it all back. I just want a little bit back because I know I got a receipt out here picking the Bucks.
Huh.
And I'm looking at them and I'm just like, I just don't. How did I pick them?
Yeah, well,
and I'm mad at myself because I picked the Hawks in round 1.
Yeah.
I picked the Hawks in round 2, and now all of a sudden, here I go abandoning the Hawks. I don't know. I blame me.
I was surprised about that. I was just like, that's why I'm like, I have that receipt. I'm like, I'm like, okay, but really surprised me. I was like, right now you're good for an exchange right now, PLR. You're good for an exchange.
Well, Paul, tell me what stores do you shop at, Paul? Where you tell me what stores you shop at where you get a partial discount, a partial return on your investment.
If I tell you that, you're gonna start shopping there. See, I can't let you shop where I shop because then they're gonna stop doing it for me. It's like when someone asks you, "Hey, how much they charge you for that?" If I tell you, then they ain't gonna go up on my price.
They're gonna stop charging me for that. Yeah,
right. So no. I you know,
he can reveal his sources or his secrets. You know, confidential information.
But Paul, it's exactly what Paul says. It comes down to making shots and missing shots, and that's what Milwaukee did not do tonight. They did not make shots. They shot 39%, and Atlanta hit their shots. They shot 51%. Bogdanovich, he came back to life again. I know he's been dealing with a knee injury, so Bogdanovich came in even without Trae. And of course, yes, when you don't have Giannis, you're a completely different team if you're Milwaukee. But like you said, Paul, they were already getting slapped around before Giannis got hurt in the third quarter.
And like I said, Ed, look, I have mad respect for Drew Holiday, and especially for Chris Middleton. But they're not superstars. They're stars. They are very good NBA players. They are NBA All-Star maybe last year, not this year, maybe next year, depending on who else is in in their conference. They're really good players. But you cannot count on them every single night. And so in the playoffs, you have to have one superstar. But then you got to have that other superstar that can balance him off if something is going wrong. Now, if they both have a bad night, you catch a blowout. I get that. But when you got another bona fide scorer, he should keep you in the game. And they just don't do it. They never get all their stuff to match at once. You know, it's somebody show up with the buns, somebody show up with the burgers, but somebody forgot to bring the charcoal for the grill. They never can get all three guys good
Going right.
going
Mhm.
at once. All you do is have one team in front of you. It makes me start to think, what is Budenholzer drawing up on a daily basis where he can't get his three guys off? So that it's starting to become a pattern. I don't like people that just keep dissing Chris Middleton, because if it wasn't for Chris Middleton, they'd be down 3-1. So he's a very good player, but he can't carry the Bucks to a final. So now, if depending on what happened with Giannis's knee, we're looking at a series where you're asking me, and that's why I was joking about the receipt. Would I rather take Nate McMillan and no Trae Young, but with some veterans and some snipers, or would I rather take Budenholzer with no freak and coaching two really good guys with no superstar?
I'd rather be Nate with the Hawks.
Exactly. That's my point. So a lot of it depends on if Giannis comes back, because there's no way they should win that game. There's no way. And let me rephrase it. Even if you lose, you should not get blown out. Or how did Medea say it? Bloated it. You should not get bloated it out. You tell me you saw Medea's. Tell me you saw Medea. You know what? You know what I'm going to buy you? I'm going to buy you some of that Sammy Sosa. No, I'm buying you some of that Sammy Sosa bleach, because you can't be that dark and not seen none of these movies. Because you too dark to not have seen it. Huh? You watched it?
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing so hard.
She has seen Medea.
Okay. Because I was about, remember he went from speaking English to only speak Spanish. He had went real light. Real light. And you know you too dark to not have seen nothing. I was about to go buy you. It comes in a jar too. It says Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa bleach. Don't start laughing now. Like, wow, you a little light all of a sudden. I got that Sammy Sosa.
I'm lighter,
No, you're not. No, good try.
I don't know. I don't want to go any lighter than what I already am, really, to be honest.
Well, you're not light. That's why I'm telling you up here. Look, I'm talking about Medea. I'm like, you know what? Ed, she too dark not to have seen Medea.
Right.
Oh gosh. All right.
So that's my take. But listen, I gotta jump on you guys. Oh my goodness.
Oh, there it is again.
We'll take the points back.
There it is again, right here.
Yeah.
We'll need to make sure that we get him a seat next time. Next to you.
I'm trying. Just keep popping up. I don't know why. Just keep popping up. And it was right over there, and all of a sudden it's way back over here.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. We just did it right here. Well, I tell you, every day, 1 o'clock, the Cave Show with PLR. Go to sportscave.com. Hit the listen live button. It's Caves with a K. I'm on the Twitter. I'm on the Facebook. And I'm on Instagram at the Sports Cave. Cave is with a K. You get me at PLR on the Twitter. Already told you, sportscave.com. And I don't know why she's still laughing. It's right here, right here. Check us out every single day. This Friday, 2 superstars. And she tried to fire me from my own show. That's a talk for a different day. You ever get fired from your own? That's like getting kicked out your own house. I almost got fired from my own show. So
Yes.
I look forward to you two rolling through on Friday. Me and my friend will be there, and I'll try to stay employed at my own radio show until Friday.
I promise to behave and do my best. Looking forward to it, PLR.
Thank y'all very much.
Much.
Oh, and check us out on Spotify too, and iHeartRadio. Almost forgot. Peace.
Yeah.
This thing.
See you. Peace, Paul. Peace, little buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, champ.
Oh my gosh, he's too much. He made like legit like make me cry tears right now.
Yeah.
All that laughter.
Gosh.
Oh, love him to death.
He is something. He is something else.
Sure is. All right, so we digress.
Yeah. Let's do a woosah from Paul.
Whew. Yes, definitely. But so we've talked quite a bit NBA there, both East and West. So let's go ahead and how about we talk a little bit MLB, my favorite, baseball, as we are reaching the summer break, midsummer classic, all-star game, and home run derby and so forth. But before we go ahead and dive in talking about the all-star game and players and all of that, pomp and circumstance, let's go ahead and just dabble into what has been the story for I don't know how many weeks now. I already lost count. After 2, I lost count with the foreign substances. We actually have, and we're going to want to get a little bit into some detail here, but we actually just had our very first pitcher who has been suspended for use of illegal substance. That was Seattle Mariners pitcher Hector Santiago. He has received a 10-game suspension for violating Major League's substance rule or for its foreign substance rules. So he was using, I believe, rosin. So you're not supposed to use anything at all. So now we see this happening. We're hearing pitchers even voicing out, of course, more throughout, and how displeased and unhappy they are about not having to use a substance. And we've seen how that's been affecting a lot of pitchers with their performance. That's one of the things. So right now we're reaching the All-Star break. And after that, it gets hot and heavy and get rolling to go into the postseason, Ed. So we know how important pitching is to the game already.
Mm-hmm.
So this and going into the postseason is pretty much an arms race. We know that season after season, each postseason, and going, as you get into the World Series, that's what it is. You're pitching. We know how important that is and how,
Oh, yes.
And so that's one of the things we're hearing pitchers, how they've had to adjust their play, their game, because a lot of these, not that it's any news, but now MLB is actually standing by the rule and cracking down and actually doing something about it. They did it in the middle of the season. Yes, we know that. We've talked about it a little bit. But we've seen how this has taken a toll on a lot, on a lot of different ways. So one of the things, too, what we see is not only in the postseason, but after the season's over, what's going to happen? Because we're saying, we know that MLB and the Players Association, there's not a good relationship there. There's a very severed relationship. There's no communication. There was no, there's a breakdown in communication, as that, we should say, as I should say there, where, where players won't prepare or the pitchers won't prepared, but they should already be prepared anyway and be in pitching without a use of any type of foreign substance. You're a pitcher, you're a caliber, player, and you're in the leagues. Shouldn't you already be, to some extent, more than not, not using a foreign substance
Mm-hmm.
pitch?
Yes.
So if you really are a true pitcher, in my opinion, you should be more dominant pitching without a foreign substance and only using it, and I think, yes, MLB should have a legal substance that pitchers could use in the event that it is needed for them. Because, like, let's say for weather purposes or something like that, where it might affect their pitching tremendously, but not having, being taken advantage of, which we know, and a lot of, with the talk and the pitchers coming out, it was being taken advantage of.
Right.
We know it, blank. So with that, and going back to MLB, the Players Association and all of that. So there's a lot, going on here. How is this all going to play out between now through the end of the season into next season, Ed. So there's a lot that's coming to light.
And this Hector Santiago situation is kind of indicative on how this whole interpretation of what MLB figures as a foreign substance as to what like manager Scott Service for the Mariners says is not a foreign substance, which is rosin, because he says rosin, of course, is on the backstop of a pitching mound, and that's what Hector Santiago was using. And Santiago says he admitted that he used rosin. So if rosin is part of the pitcher's mound, is that a foreign substance, or is it not? Or is it a situation where the umpire said that he felt like a sticky substance inside of Santiago's glove? That's why he threw him out, not knowing that it was rosin, or if it was a mixture of some kind of lotion and some kind of other substance. He didn't. I guess the umpire didn't really know what the substance was, and then if it did turn out to be rosin, from what Service and Santiago said, then okay, who's going to believe who? Who is Major League Baseball going to side on, the Service's side or Santiago's side, or the umpire who didn't really know what the substance was? Here's where this interpretation of what is foreign and what is not foreign, the lines are getting crossed right here. And I think he won't be the first one that are going to have these lines crossed as to what the pitcher says what the substance was and what the umpire felt it was, without actually knowing and taking time to really study and dissect what the substance was, because you're in the heat of the moment and you're throwing a pitcher out and you don't really have time to sit there with a microscope and figure out what the substance was.
Right. And you're not going to know that. So
No.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. They're just the umpire is going based off of whatever substance that they feel is inside of a glove, whether it's rosin or whatever it is. Okay, he's out. They'll do the analysis later on, but at that moment, the umpire has the sole discretion to make that decision, and it's only going to get crazier as the season goes on, Joanna. And as you mentioned, it is an absolute arms race. And just imagine if any of these contending teams come in these pennant races, and heaven forbid one of their starting pitchers, one of their aces, has a situation like Santiago, and he gets outed for 10 days as they're in the middle of running for a pennant race, or say it happens in the playoffs when they're actually making a run for a championship, or heaven forbid it should happen in the World Series. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's, it's going to take it's not already, but even a more major toll in the postseason, or as we're reaching the postseason.
Yes.
We have contenders, and we've already seen, at least, especially in the National League West, how that table has turned. We have the Giants, who were not expected to be at the very top, battling it out with the Dodgers, and then we have the Padres as well, who still are in contention, and expected to go to the postseason.
Right.
So, that's just a wild race there, but we also, but that's not the only, the only division we're talking about. We're talking just MLB all over. So it's going to take a huge, it's a huge indication of how, to what to expect for the postseason. But then again, after this season's over, collective bargaining agreement, and, is that going to come to a standstill? Are we going to see, the players maybe, coming to demands and, being even more vocal about, what they want, they don't want, and, all of these needs wanting to be met. So we're probably seeing no baseball. It's something that's foreseeable, and we've been talking about for the last couple of seasons already, that to probably expect something to, a shakedown happen in the offseason.
Yeah, like a strike, or just, there's just Major League Baseball gets shut down until the two sides come to an agreement. So between October, when the World Series ends, to December, when the CBA is supposed to come to an end, that's going to be a crazy time period where all eyes are going to be on both of those sides to see what's going to happen. Are they going to have discussions? Are they going to even broach the subject of renewing the CBA, or are they just going to continue to splinter the way they are right now? Yeah. Only time will tell that, Joanna. And I'm sure on the MLBPA side, I'm sure they're keeping receipts. We talk about receipts. You and PLR talk about receipts. Like this Santiago thing, this incident, they're keeping receipts. the players and the Players Association, they're keeping very close tabs on how this whole situation with these foreign substance is going to come out. And that, believe me, it's going to come up when it's time to talk about CBA.
Oh yeah, definitely. You read my mind there. That's where I was actually going to next. Is that's right here with the foreign substance issue. That is a major tipping point for the MLBPA. Major
Yes.
tipping point. So
Huge.
that's why I bring it up. And one of the things to look out for, because you know that they're not happy. No one's happy. None of the players, none of the pitchers specifically are happy about how this all played out. So that's something to keep an eye out for as we're, reach the off season, and even not even now, but as the season develops as well. So that was a developing story. But you know what else is, or who we should be also looking out for if you haven't already? And this specific person has been the talk for a while. And it's
Are you talking about a young man that plays for the Angels? Are you talking about this guy?
The Babe Ruth of our time, Ohtani, is expected to take part.
Shohei Ohtani. Look at me. Look at me. Shohei Ohtani.
Yes, to take part and expected to take part in both not only the All-Star game as a pitcher, but also to participate in the Home Run Derby. This will be the first time in All-Star game history, I believe, to my recollection, that a pitcher will be, taking part on both ends. All-Star game, pitching for an All-Star game, and in the Home Run Derby. He's a two-way player, and right now there's rules and things that prohibit from a pitcher to take part in both, both sides of the All-Star game, and in this dynamic with participating as a pitcher, and also he is a hitter, and he hit 2 bombs today, and he has numbers that we haven't seen in, I forgot how many years, since Babe Ruth time.
Since Babe, yes. Mm-hmm.
So he's the Babe Ruth of modern era. So he's just phenomenal. I've seen him, in a few instances, and I'll be actually, looking at or watching him play a little bit more closely as the season progresses. But my gosh, that guy, he is out of this world, and just something else that I have never seen, and none of us have ever seen.
Yeah, Joe, he's got 28 home runs this year. He's hit 3 home runs so far at Yankee Stadium in that series. So he went ahead of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with the Blue Jays. And for him to hit 28 home runs, and he's gone 3-1 with a 2.58 ERA, 82 strikeouts, and about 60 innings pitched, Joanna. So he's making it happen on the mound and with his bat. You're right. That is something we haven't seen since way back in the day when Babe did it. This is an unbelievable kid. And if I was Major League Baseball, I would let him do it. I would let him be in the Home Run Derby and pitch. Can you imagine what kind of attention, what kind of positive attention that would draw to Denver for the All-Star game, Joanna? How many eyes would watch Ohtani just to see what he would do in the All-Star game, and if the young man pitches in the All-Star game as well? If any kind of positive publicity, any kind of great publicity, this is it right here. With all the negativity that we're hearing surrounding Major League Baseball, this is the story that they need to resurrect a good belief and a good, I guess, for the public to look at baseball in a positive light. This young man is it.
Yes, it totally is. And he right now has, at least, well, not right now as we speak, but earlier today, it was released that in the phase 1 of the All-Star voting, he was number 1 with just shy of 2 million votes, Ed. And that's on top of JD Martinez and Jordan Alvarez. So phase 2 right now is open for All-Star voting, and I do not know how much further it's open for. But if you haven't casted your All-Star vote for players or pitchers, go ahead and do so. I need to do mine before the deadline ends. I'm trying to look here real quickly when that deadline is, but I'm not finding it here immediately. But
Second phase ends on July 1st.
July 1st. Thank you. So we're just shy of 2 days of that closing. So he's very close, and I'm not doubtful that he will actually get in. So we also have Zach Greinke also being as part of of that vote as well, to go to the All-Star as a pitcher. So yeah, he is very, very hot. I think he should be the face of MLB. I know he's not one for attention or anything like that. And he would, oh my gosh, if he would be the face of MLB or the face of the Angels, if not officially already, he would. Can you imagine how much he would bring to MLB? I know he doesn't want the attention. He just wants to, he's not one for the limelight, from what I hear. And if he was,
he would bring billions. Joanna, billions of dollars to the sport of baseball. MLB, they've had to do whatever they can to get him even more spotlight, even more TV time. Although he doesn't want to do it.
Like, I know, like that would be the most. Like, I think that would be the most media coverage probably ever since Ichiro Suzuki, I would say, because how all that attraction. Remember going to Chase Field, and when he would come here, how that
Ichiro was large. Oh
my goodness, he would. I'm no doubt that he would surpass that.
So when you look at these the AL and NL rosters, the All-Star Game finalists, what league really sticks out to you? I'm seeing talent up and down both of these leagues, and it's looking at these names. It is going to be a midseason classic. This might be one to remember with all this talent up and down these rosters for these finalists.
I can't say which one sticks out more because they all have just phenomenal.
Yes, major talent.
So speechless. That's how I'll say. But we are running short on time here. Before we go, there's a couple more things we want to go ahead and make sure that we touch on. I just want to mention my Boston Red Sox swept the Yankees yet again, second time this season.
Yes,
the Yankees have won a game against the Yankees. I mean, Yankees have not won a game against the Red Sox, all season. So what is wrong with the Yankees, Ed?
I don't know, Joe. I know Brian Cashman, the general manager, is not happy with the state of the New York Yankees right now. And by all accounts, an article that I read, it shocked me for him to say that the Yankees might be sellers at the trade deadline. I'm trying to think the last time that you would ever have equated the New York Yankees being sellers at the trading deadline. You always think that they're buyers because they're always in contention. But right now they're about 7.5 games behind Tampa Bay for first. Am I right? I think they're fourth place in the AL East.
The Yankees right now are fourth. They only have 41 wins. They are just above 500. They're 7.5 games behind first.
Wow.
Behind the Red Sox. Yes.
Okay.
So
the Red Sox, yes.
Not looking good. The last really bad season that the Yankees had was a few years ago when we were looking at possibly having the Yankees rebuild, even though they really don't rebuild. But
right, yes, I remember that. Yes,
they were able to kind of turn it around fairly quickly and not really, let it go down. That season, have it be so much of a downer. But since then, I think it's been maybe like 3 or 4 seasons since they were really kind of having it rough. But now right now the thing is, and very surprising, they have the talent, Ed. They have the talent, and they're not good. They are in the tanker, pretty much.
Yes. So what separates your Red Sox from the Yankees? I'm seeing that the Red Sox have they have the second most runs scored in baseball behind the Houston Astros, 404 runs. They're a plus 44 on the differential. And also what impresses me is your Red Sox are plus 10 on the road record. They're 24-14. So away from Fenway, they know how to win. They're +8. They're 25-17 at home, which is a very good record in itself. So your team knows how to win at home at Fenway, and when they go on the road, they do the same thing, and they can score runs.
Right. That's one of the things is they're just scoring runs and they're playing. They, whether that's scoring runs and just, getting the ball out in the field, making sure they get a hit or home runs, they can do it all. They do it all, Ed.
Yeah.
They really do. Right
And
now,
they've got a great manager.
With their pitching, they can't hit the ball. Period.
Yeah. They've scored as many runs as they've given up, 321. So when you're at 0 on the run differential, that means what do you don't you're scoring you're giving up as many runs as you're scoring. So hence they're being around 500 baseball.
Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah.
What's your Red Sox? 5 in a row. Your team is red hot, Joe. 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Oh shh. I don't want to jinx them.
So just our last topic here for the night I want to touch on, and it has been a little bit of a hot topic since it actually came out in The Shop. HBO has the show. The Shop is by LeBron James, and I don't know if you've seen it. It's very, very interesting. I do like it. There's some, players that you will see there. There's some other entertainment or artists that you'll see there as well. So it's just a nice little mix. And the conversations are great that they have, which I love, between players or athletes and artists and all that, and just how deep they get in there. But one of the things that Tom Brady did say in there, or one of the things that he said was that his career is coming to an end, kind of open-ended. And we know Tom Brady retirement, it's going to be approaching here soon, but how soon? We know that Tom Brady has an extension he signed a 1-year extension with Tampa Bay through 2022. Is that the end of it? We don't hear him really talking. It's not like we really do hear him talk anyway, like too much further into the future. That really hasn't been Tom Brady.
Right.
So he is, getting up there in age. He's in great shape. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos and how he trains and, all of his exercises and all of that. But it's very, very intense, Ed. And I don't see him slowing down. Even though he says that he will be retiring, soon. We don't know how soon. But at least give Brady maybe like at least two more seasons.
Oh yeah, but he's not the average 43-year-old athlete, Joanna. With, as you mentioned, his workout regimen and the way modern science and the way modern technology has gone as far as making sure these athletes stay healthy and with their diets and everything that's surrounding them, he could play at least 2 or 3 more years. And it all depends on how healthy he will be, how successful the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be. And I know he wants to make another run at a repeat championship. Now, especially now that the Buccaneers have brought everybody back from their roster that won a championship last year, why would Tom not want to run it back, knowing that they're the best team in football? Until somebody dethrones the world champion Buccaneers and takes Tom Brady out, that's the team to beat. So if Tom's down there in Florida, of course, he's got no sales tax, so he's good down there with that. So he's saving a lot of money. Him and Giselle are good down there as far as that is concerned. He's got Bruce Arians. He's got all the talent in the world, offensively and defensively. So Tom's in a good spot right now. But yes, of course, Father Time is going to tap on him eventually. He's going to tap on his shoulder and say, Tom, hey, here I am. It's time to hang it up, buddy. I know you don't want me here, but I'm here to take you away. Father Time catches up with all of us, even Tom Brady.
Yeah, he is ready to, preparing to get into his 22nd season, Ed. But I don't know for the Super Bowl. If you remember seeing this like meme or cartoon video of Tom Brady, like, he's like playing and has played for like forever, and we want him to play for like forever because he's
yes, of course,
the greatest of all time. He's the GOAT. And we're in year 2021, and this is how Tom Brady looks. Now we're in year 2040, and this is, the new Tom Brady. He's still playing, and now we're, it just keeps going into the future, and he's gonna play forever, never gonna
Yeah.
retire, never gets old, and time never catches up to him.
Yeah, he's like 50 years into the league and he's still playing, right?
Yeah, it's like year 30, 50, and the out there in space in some robotic form, and it's still Tom Brady playing football.
And how many? He's got like 40 championships. He's got a million yards passing, 1,000 touchdowns. It's like he's still going strong. That's
Yeah,
Tom.
I don't know that's gonna be a bittersweet moment when Tom Brady does retire.
I know. Yes.
I think I probably will cry, possibly. I don't know. The only player that I cried when they retired. Can you guess who that was, Ed?
Was he a Red Sox player?
No.
Who was it? Who'd you cry for? What sport?
Baseball.
Oh my gosh. He wasn't a Red Sox player. I'm gonna kick myself for not knowing this. What team?
Not saying. Who's my favorite pitcher, like, ever, all time?
Randy Johnson?
No.
Who is your favorite all-time pitcher?
You should know this, Ed. We've talked about this, and PLR has receipts on this too.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And I think I have receipts of this too somewhere.
I don't know who. Give me one more hint.
He was a relief pitcher.
Oh my gosh.
Still nothing? Okay.
Yankees.
I need a name.
Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. Mariano Rivera. I mean, you just said Yankees. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything.
because his name was coming to me.
Mariano Rivera. Yeah, I cried when he retired.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mariano. Oh wow. How great was he? He was spectacular.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness, yes. There will never be another Mariano Rivera ever.
Never, ever,
Nobody.
ever. That's the last we saw of relief pitching was Mariano Rivera. Ever since then, that's when baseball pitching changed. Relief pitching.
Yes.
So, yes. But I will go ahead and we'll probably do the same with Tom Brady because he's one of the best quarterbacks, in my opinion. Even though, yes, I do love Brett Favre and I love Aaron Rodgers. I don't think I'll cry when he retires. But Tom Brady, seeing him beginning to end, which, whenever that will be, I will possibly cry.
Yes, that'll be an emotional day.
So
I mean, Tom's done it all. 7 championships, 14 Pro Bowls.
Yep.
Possibly an 8th championship after this season. Who knows?
Who knows?
So if he repeats with the Buccaneers, do you think he retires after this season?
If he repeats, yes. If he doesn't, he'll give it another season.
But if he wins, I know Tom, he would try to go for a 3-peat. Wouldn't he? Something nobody's ever done that in the NFL. I'm pretty sure of that. Nobody's ever won 3 in a row. No.
Probably would depend on Bruce Arians.
On Bruce, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If Bruce still wants to run it back, because Bruce is getting up there,
Yep.
As much as we love Bruce can't coach forever, just like Tom can't play forever.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. As much as we would love to, but no.
Yep.
So enjoy it while it lasts, people. Enjoy it while it lasts. I know I did with Mariano. Oh gosh, I think I'm probably gonna go and put up some plays, some of his games.
Wow.
So
a Red Sox girl giving propers to a Yankees player. Wow, you blaspheme.
I know it surprises a lot of people. They're like, "How can that be?" I'm like, if you really are a true baseball fan and you do follow the game and you're just not
Oh yeah.
a follower, yeah, you're gonna have those conflicting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, hands down.
No question.
But anywho, this is where our show comes to an end, Ed.
Oh, it's been fun.
So it has been fun. I know a lot to talk about. I know we really dug into those NBA playoffs. So looking forward to tomorrow, Wednesday night's game with the Clippers and the Suns. Hopefully the Suns can go ahead and get it in 6. Like PLR said, we don't want to go ahead and go on to a game 7 and suffer. I do not want to suffer.
Mm-mm.
You know how
No.
you know how that will play out with me. Let's avoid that at all costs if
Yes.
we can.
Yeah. Suns close it out tomorrow. Don't give the Clippers any more hope. Because
No.
if it's you're right, if it's 3-3 coming back here on Friday night, all bets are off. Game 7.
Yes.
Come on.
The thing is, the Suns, they know, they acknowledge where it is that they failed during yesterday's game, Monday night's game, and what they need to accomplish to go out and win. So hopefully they do live up to their word and saying that they're not going to come out like they did game 5, come out better, game 6, close it out in LA. So they're not having to come to Phoenix for game 7. I do not want to see a game 7 out of the Suns and see them struggle through that.
And there was so much national talk. I know we got to get out of here, but there's so much national talk surrounding Chris Paul. And there's a lot of people saying that Chris Paul is actually stunting this Phoenix Suns offense because he's playing at a slower pace compared to what like Cam Payne would do if he was in there. Do you agree with any of that? People are saying, okay, well, Devin Booker's not shooting as well. He's not being as effective as he is when CP's there as opposed to Cam Payne. And the people, whoever said that, they brought out numbers to kind of support what they were saying about CP and how he may be affecting the offense because it's moving at a slower pace because he's getting older, obviously, and he's still not gotten his complete rhythm in the offense. Is there anything that do you think anything to that?
I think that CP3, this is what I will go ahead and close it out with then. I think that CP3 is not to his 100% full potential of what he can be. Yes, I think that he's not fully healed. He's still, trying to get 100% out of his, injury that happened earlier in the playoffs. So
and
yes,
the COVID
I think
thing too.
In addition to that, yes, he is out of rhythm. He's not up to that pace. So that did definitely throw him off. As far as slowing the Suns down, to that extent, there's, I don't say that it's slowing down, but it's the chemistry. There's a change in chemistry. Yes, because they haven't been able to continuously follow that and kind of just being able to get in a rhythm. I think that's what it is. Not so much as the slowing them down, but more of a rhythm situation. And we just seen how that's played out and the energy and the rhythm. It's, hasn't completely, transferred over, smoothly.
Yes, I agree. But hopefully tomorrow night is when it does transfer over and you see that it just clicks for the Suns tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think that they're going to come out angry, mad, and wanting to go ahead and close it out and not want to have to have the Clippers
mess around with the game 7. Yes.
You do not want to do that. So I think Suns I'm hopeful that they will go ahead and do what they have to do to close out the deal. I will not have my expectations set too high, and I will be watching like I would watch a scary movie. I will be honest, but just hoping nothing but the best and sending good vibes.
Absolutely. Good vibes all the way to LA.
Yes, definitely. So Ed, before we go ahead and close out the show, let our listeners and our viewers, our awesome fans, where they can go ahead and find you.
Yes, of course, right here on the Inside Sports Talk on PLR show. You and I will be on Friday on the Sports Cave, on Twitter at EdCole43, Instagram at EdwardCole301, and Facebook Edward Cole.
I don't think you have enough channels. I think you need more.
No, I need about 12 more channels to be on.
You can find me, Joanna Rosalie, on both Instagram and Twitter at JROSALYE. You can find Inside Sports Network on our website, insidesports.net, Instagram at Insight Sports Net, and on Twitter at Insight Sports with an extra S at the end. Make sure to listen and download and listen, I should say, from wherever it is that you do listen to podcasts. We're on all major podcast platforms, coming to you 2 times a week live on both Instagram and Twitter, as well as YouTube in our channel there. Make sure you go and hit subscribe. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Thank you for tuning in. This was Insights Sports Talk.